It's important for child care professionals to learn about the ways in which children grow and develop. Understanding the patterns of how children develop enables child care providers to plan meaningful, engaging activities that support children as they gain new skills. Ideally, caregivers will provide learning experiences that challenge children to extend their current abilities, but are not so challenging as to create excessive frustration. To plan activities that are developmentally appropriate for the children in your care, you first have to know what children know and are able to do right now, and then you have to think about where their developmental trajectory is headed. Without these two pieces of information, it's impossible to be intentional about activity planning. It is also important for child care providers to have a firm grasp of the typical patterns of growth and development so that they can identify children who may need additional support. This might mean providing targeted activities in the child care setting to help boost specific skills, or it may mean referring a child to outside services to be assessed for the possibility of a developmental delay or disability. The earlier children with disabilities and delays are identified, the better their long-term outcomes are likely to be. Now that we know why it's important to learn about growth and development, let's take a moment to explore what growth and development are and look at some of the characteristics of the growth and development we typically see in young children. While we often speak of growth and development together, they're not the same thing. Growth is when something gets taller, bigger, stronger, or longer. Development is a broader term that includes advances in the body, such as brain synapses connecting or eyes focusing more clearly with age, and skill development. Growth is a part of development. Development includes both visible changes and changes that cannot be seen with the naked eye. Growth and development are complex processes. It is true to say that children grow in a sequential fashion, meaning they must reach and achieve one milestone before attempting the next. However, it's also true to say that they grow and develop all at once, meaning it's impossible to separate the domains of development. For instance, motor development happens sequentially. Children will sit up, then crawl, then walk before running. Language development is also linear. Children observe others talking and learn to copy the shape of the mouth, and then they make sounds, and then they babble. As time goes on, babbles turn into words, and words turn into sentences, and sentences turn into conversations. While many aspects of growth and development are sequential, growth and development also happen in an integrated fashion. Many different skills are developing at the same time and are closely related. For instance, a child who has a secure attachment will be more closely attuned to the adult faces around him, thereby spurring language development. A toddler who is learning to walk will experience new things that will facilitate cognitive development and brain growth. A preschooler who is using manipulatives will be learning math skills and improving her fine motor skills. A child's growth and development are affected by both nature and nurture. For instance, a child born to very tall parents will likely have the genetic material to allow her also to be a very tall person. However, her eventual growth can be impacted by nurture. If she's not provided with proper nutrition, she may never reach her potential height. Here's another example. A child who is born with Down syndrome, a genetic condition, will have certain characteristics, including possible limitations in some areas of development. Nurture also plays a role in this child's development, though, because we know that children with Down syndrome who are given every opportunity and raised in a healthy, nurturing environment can far surpass others whose environments are less conducive to optimal development. Even a child's social-emotional development, which we usually think of as being dependent on a child receiving warm, nurturing care in his environment, can be affected by nature. All infants are born with a set of biological traits that affect their personalities, called temperament, and these have an impact on the child's social-emotional development. The important thing to remember is that the answer to the age-old question of nature or nurture is both. Children grow and develop in a specific pattern, And yet every child is unique and develops at her own pace. This means there's a broad range of typical development, with some children reaching milestones well before or after others. Still, understanding what children should be able to do around certain ages can be useful in planning experiences that promote development, and also for identifying children who may need additional support. Remember, these are rough guidelines, not hard and fast checklists. It's normal for some children to reach these milestones after the estimated times we'll discuss throughout this course. If you notice that a child in your care is reaching many milestones significantly later than her peers, then you may need to refer the family to the appropriate services in your community for further evaluation. Because of this complexity, it can seem overwhelming to try to understand how children gain so many new skills and abilities so quickly in such interconnected ways. To help break down the development process, researchers often talk about categories of skills that are closely related. These categories are called domains of development. Let's discuss the 4 most commonly recognized domains of development in more depth. We'll use these 4 domains to organize information about growth and development throughout the rest of this course.